Hello, good morning, and welcome to Family and Values. Family is a structure ordained by God, divinely structured, ordained by God. And I want to think that life itself starts from the family. Now, on this program, every morning, every day, we get to talk about the family and what it takes to make a family. Are people really ready to make a family? Because family is like a mirror, you know, how you raise your children, family. So whatever we're discussing on this program borders on parenting, marriage, divorce, single parenthood, be it male or female, yeah, lifestyle, culture. We get to talk about health. Everything starts from the family. Usually, people meet. A man meets a girl meets a man. Then they begin to date or court, and then eventually ends up in marriage. Sometimes it does not. So what are the factors? Why do people even meet in the first place? Let's take it back to the days when God himself created Adam. And he said, Adam, it will not be good for you to be alone, so I'm going to give you a helper, a soulmate, and gave Adam Eve. I guess that's where it all started from. But today, people raise children single-handedly because the family is broken, because the family is damaged. Who are we blaming? Some people say it's the man because the man keeps roaming around, does not listen to the wife, does not give attention, high-handedness, chauvinism, narcissism, toxic, and the woman gets tired and fed up after she would have tried everything, every means to keep the man or to keep the home. It's not working. We've asked professionals in this field, marriage counselors, they've aired their views. So, like, in any case, they will say marriage is a long-term journey. I concur. Because before you got married, did you not even know the person you're getting married to? And if you said, I do, I would have thought that it would be like that, despite the challenges. Everybody knows that it's not easy. What? How can it be easy? You see your partner on a daily basis, every day, every night, and you both come from different backgrounds, raised differently by different people, and then you have come together. Of course, it will not be easy. You have to manage each other. You have to. Now, the bone of contention here, my fears are usually for the children, because the man belongs to his family. The woman belongs to her family. These children now belong to both of you. You brought these children to this world. You brought them to this world. They didn't ask to come. You mated, and brought these children to this world. So who is going to take responsibility for them when the center can no longer hold? There are single fathers, and they just feel that, okay, if that be the case, let me stay with my children. If I bring in another woman, that woman is going to maltreat my children because I love my children. Even though their mother is no longer with me, I will be responsible for my children. There are cases like that. We have single, successful fathers. But most of the time, majority of time, is the woman who says, okay, if you have decided to go, I will stick with my children. But because you are the breadwinner, usually the man is seen as the breadwinner. At least provide for us. I'm going to be with my children, raise them the best way that I know. I would not want my children to go the path that I have gone. I have made a mistake. Yeah? So she sticks with her children. Now the children, on the other hand, are they understanding enough? See, children learn more from what they see, not what they hear. That is why the foundation is the home. They start with seeing their parents, their father or their mother before they go to school. So now, because Everybody is busy. Then you go and dump your children in school, wanting the teachers to do magic. Look at the Zoom guest we had yesterday. He's a relationship coach, and he said in school, he's a lecturer. In school, what he sees are these girls and boys that their children have brought to school, expecting the teachers to do magic. No, no, no. It's you. It starts from home. They say charity begins at home. Let's say by, okay, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. It's gone beyond that. Show me your friends and I'll tell you your future. The kind of people your children hang with, the kind of company they keep, it matters a lot. You know, the company a man keeps determines what accompanies them. If you are paroling and just going up and down with junkies, tendencies, people will see you as one of them. You know, so this issue of family is very, very important. So important. Even in Europe, the blacks, you will see, you know, if you go down history, if you go down memory lane, you see that a black woman has that power, innermost power. Even when she's breaking, she stands for her family. For her family. There are some women, there are men who come and dump the children they had with other women, come and dump it on the woman in the house because I have married you. So mother my children for me. These are children you abandoned, though. You know, their mothers are nowhere to be found. Okay, fine. Fine. We had a bishop sometime, like 2-3 days ago, you know, and she spoke at length, you know. Some people say, don't leave, make it work. Okay, yeah, make it work, but sometimes you are faced with life-threatening issues. We'll take a break. When we come back, we continue. Thank you.
Cohabitational relationship. A cohabitating couple is a couple that lives together in an intimate and committed relationship who are not married to each other and not in a civil partnership entering into cohabitation. Sometimes it's as beneficial for happiness as entering marriage, but that entering marriage is slightly more satisfying than merely living together, but only among people who had never been married. Risks associated with having a higher number of cohabiting partners include having a more difficult romantic or family life, more strained economic circumstances, and higher odds of having children with different partners, all of which can increase your odds of divorce. The disadvantages of cohabitation are lack of legal protection. One of the biggest disadvantages of cohabitation is the lack of protection for unmarried couples, financial dispute. While cohabiting can save money, it can also lead to financial dispute. Emotional challenges. What are the problems with cohabiting couples? In any cohabiting relationship, it's crucial that you and your partner learn to listen and take on board constructive criticism. Living together sounds easy, but it can be challenging, especially on the long run. So good communication must be practiced in order to lessen the stress. Overall, living together before marriage can provide couples with valuable insight into their relationship, help them build a stronger bond, and improve their chances of having a successful long-term commitment. How do you deal with cohabitation? First, embrace collaboration. Take advice from friends or family with a grain of salt. Take time to reflect and prepare. Some serious things to consider in cohabitation is to choose your battles wisely.
Values, and today's topic is cohabitational relationships. Cohabitation, let me break it down. Living lovers, you know, to the layman who might not understand what cohabitation means. It's someone you've decided to live with without marriage, legally, you know, but you decided to be partners in this kind of relationship. Yeah, some have decided on that, you know. It's like, okay, let's see how it goes. Yeah, let's see how it goes. 1 month becomes 2 months, becomes 1 year, becomes 2 years. Before you know, 10 years. They are still not legally married, but they are living together. Is it wise or not? But we have seen successful cohabitational relationships. Let me just say this. I think it's that kind of arrangement between our great Oprah Winfrey with a man she's still dating, still counting for like 30 something years going on, when people at that level have broken, have broken. You know, they've gone their separate ways. They call it power marriages, power this, power that, back to back with all the money and all that. They've broken up. But this kind of arrangement has worked for her because she has been interviewed about it. And the partner has also been interviewed about it. They decided on this arrangement and it's working perfectly for them. They seem very happy. So to me, they are both powerful in their different fields. Wealth, you know, fame, popularity, you know. So I want to think it's not about the money. I think it's about that joy, you know. So if cohabitational relationships work for you, it's all about you and your happiness. Yeah. Lovely, wonderful guest with me here in the studio. You are Joy Nwokoro, marriage coach and relationship contributor, American Indian Lifestyle Magazine. You're welcome.
Thank you so
The
much,
rains, yeah?
Yes.
The rains,
Yeah.
I can imagine. We're still with our Zoom guest from Canada. Ma'am, our Zoom guest this morning is... Good morning, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Mrs. Bose Fawehimi is a marriage and relationship counselor from Canada. Good
Yes,
morning, ma'am. Can you hear
yes, yes.
me? Our topic this morning is cohabitational relationships. You know, like living lovers, that kind of thing, before marriage, I guess. So what's your take on this, madam?
So thank you again for having me this morning. Yeah, so what's my take? So as a counselor, it's not my place to tell people if they should do certain things or if they should not. So my own job will be to let them see how this decision fits into their own life, because what may work for one person may not work for the other person. And also, this individual must check if it aligns with their own personal values. So if you as a person, your values do not clash with that, then maybe you want to try it. But if it's a major value clash for you as a person, then there is no amount of what we may dangle before you and say, oh, it's okay, you can do it. It just wouldn't sit well with you. So um, it's just best that each person will look at the pros and cons of this thing, that is it really going to work for me? Because in some schools, some people will promote it and say that, oh, it's okay, it helps you to know your people, the person you want to marry, you're going to try it out and see if it works and all of that. So they will bring forth reasons that they use to support it. But people who have lived it would also be able to tell you whether it works or not. So my own personal opinion, um, my personal opinion now is that there are more disadvantages to it than the advantages. So if someone just asks for my opinion, then I will say I don't believe it's the best approach to test whether a relationship will work or not. But professionally speaking, I will sit with the individual and then let's talk about how it fits into your own life. So that's how I would answer that first question.
On cohabitational relationships. What's your take? We'd like to hear from you as well.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. So typically, research has shown that
a lot of people who dabble into this, who have to like cohabit before getting married, many times, hit the brick wall. And then personally, a lot of people would say, I need to know this person very well. Let's get to know the person is compatible, whether we can live together. I want to know if the person is patient, understanding. All of these things, well, yes, it's nice to want to know these things,
Yes.
but having to go about it the right way. Living with a person doesn't necessarily mean you would get to know the person,
True.
in his or her entirety. Within the time frame you
Yes.
want to live with the person
Yes.
before getting married.
Yes.
So many times, people, like I said earlier, they hit the brick wall, and it's like, but I lived with this person.
Uh-huh.
So what happened? I
What
saw him
happened?
every day. I saw her every day,
Exactly.
and all of that. So it isn't something one may want to dabble into, because of the disadvantages attached to it.
Okay, disadvantages. So it's all about choices. It's all about choices.
Exactly.
Like a man from Canada said, it's an individual thing. Is if it works for you, fine. Does not mean it will work for somebody else.
Exactly.
So we're still on the topic, cohabitational relationships. So, ma'am, I'm coming back to you, our Zoom guest. This question is, okay, like somehow you've answered it. So do you think it helps understand your partner and brings about more patience, since love can't really hold marriage?
Okay. So, thank you. Does it help you to really know your partner? Interesting. So, when you live together in that unmarried state, the things you encounter may not be the same as what you will encounter when you're married. So, when we live together, it's practically like, mm, there is that sense of if it works, if it doesn't work. So, because that is the premise by which we are working with, that this is trial. It is not the final deal. Mm? So there is a way individuals will present in that relationship because it's not final. I mean, like, how would I just want to go all the way when I know that there is a possibility that you are going to kick me out someday, in terms of me being fully committed. So the me that I am presenting in that relationship may be different from the me that will present if this relationship were of complete absolute finality, that we have decided we are doing this for real. So how you will know that person will be different because they are not the same people. So let's assume that you live together and you guys don't have kids yet. So you probably know that lady as a single lady, that all she does is go to work and then take care of the house. But by the time she becomes a mom, she's a different person because there is now another complexity that is thrown into it that you didn't experience when you guys were living together with our kids. Oh, so let's even say you guys live together, you're not married and you have kids. So you can see the person as a mom, as a dad. But what about the finances? How are we doing our finances when I know that I'm not married to you? So there is a way I handle myself in that situation that is going to be different from how I will handle myself. So do you really know me? Would you really know me? No, because it is the me that is presented to you that you would know at that time. So saying, oh, it helps you to develop patience, it helps you to really know the person. You see, we all evolve. Human beings evolve. We are all growing. So the person you know 5 years ago is not the exact person that you are meeting now, because that person is growing, the person is changing. So there is no amount of you living together that is going to divorce proof or affair proof, or give you that protection you're looking for to say that, yeah, I've lived with him for 5 years, I know him very well. No, you don't, because everybody's changing, and living cohabiting does not really give you an antidote to what will happen, or to protect your marriage in case of eventuality. I don't agree. that it does help you know the person perfectly well.
Magnified,
Mm.
and so the question now would be, to what degree can I take this thing when I see it in marriage? So just like she said, human beings are evolving beings.
True.
We evolve. I
True.
mean, you would be surprised that living with a person for like 5 years, 5 years into marriage, you're wondering, I didn't see this side of you, or you
Exactly.
didn't exhibit this side.
Exactly. So I was going to bring that into this.
Yes.
Is marriage a guarantee for you to really know your partner? Because we've seen failed marriages after even 35 years.
True.
I'm a living witness to a marriage that failed after 35 years. A friend's mother. Yeah? 35 years with 7 big children and grandchildren. All of a sudden, the husband says, leave my house. And brings in a girl of 19 years. So let's look at it critically. Yes, I agree with both of you, yeah, because you are experts on this field, okay? I can relate. But is marriage a guarantee? Is it an achievement?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we understand, or we want to talk about this from the religious background. We understand that, people don't do well alone, That's why, the Bible says that, he places the solitary,
Exactly.
in family unit systems
Exactly.
and all
I started
of that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, however, it may not, we don't say it is an achievement, really,
Okay.
you having to, like, you're no longer one, you become one with someone
Yes,
else, you begin to
so you
build a
become-
family,
yes, exactly.
and all of that. That's a great achievement in
Yes,
itself.
yes.
But marriage is not who you are. Marriage does not make you. Marriage does not validate you in itself. Yes, there could be some validation that comes with marriage. Knowing I am no longer alone, I have a spouse, I've got children, I've got people to look up to, and all of that. People to take care of me in my old age and all of that. However, if you check very well, I mean, there's a sort of validation you need in yourself as a person, that you need more like a base, more like the foundation before you go into marriage. Many times when people cohabit, and then there's this part of them that probably still needs to be worked on, they go in and they make a mess of even cohabitation. Have there been people who have done who have cohabited and are enjoying marriage? Chances are that yes, there could be. Are there those who have gone in and made a mess of it? Yes, there could be. So I still think everything boils down to the individual. Who you are.
Individual. Okay, fine. Ma'am, as guest, you're hearing her, I'm sure. So, you have both dealt with cohabitation, rightly. No, nothing more, nothing less. But like I said, and she has answered it, now I want your take on that. Does it validate you? Is it an achievement? We have seen marriages crash 18 years, 20 years, 30 something years. Did they not understand themselves enough even in the marriage? Why should it crash? We need to know, because there are a lot of women out there that are listening to you right now because they need someone to talk to. They don't know where to go. So looking at both of you, obviously you're both successful women in your different areas of endeavor. So let's talk to those women or young girls out there that are right now in one relationship or the other. They don't even know if it's a relationship. They don't even know. They are following one man just because they think they are helpless. Maybe if I follow this man will make me. Is it true? Is it true?
Hey, so when somebody is thinking about marriage, the question is, why do you want to get married? What's the goal? What's your objective? What's the vision you have for that marriage? What's the marriage supposed to do for you? So if you see marriage as a status thing, that at least they will respect me and say, she's married though. Then any person that calls himself a man will fit the bill, because the person will give you a title to bear. You will be Mrs. So if that's all you want from it, then you can just marry anybody, then you've achieved your goal. So even if the thing crashes after 2 years, you are good. At least you can still keep the man's name if you want. If you see it as an avenue to come out of poverty, like, oh, at least this person will pay my bills, let me just get married. Then maybe if you have a child for the person will give you long-term pension and be giving you baby mama money to take care of the child. Your goal has been achieved. But if what you want is, a lifetime companion, that I want to settle with somebody that I know this is going to be for the long haul, and we would, live together happily ever after, then how you will choose the person and what you will be looking for in that person will determine who you settle with. Now, after you have even said you have made the right choice, you settle for the really nice person, both of you have the same mind, they are heading in the same direction, and all of that. You see, in that marriage, you still have to be learning how to make the marriage work. Because, like I said earlier, we evolve, we'll change. We are work in progress. So you have to keep working at the marriage to keep making it work. So when you hear somebody is celebrating 40 years wedding anniversary, that 40 years didn't drop on their lap. So it is hard work that was behind it, and they worked it out, and that's why they are still here. So in all, if you want to be successful in your marriage, you have to put in the work. And let us hope that the other person too is putting in the work. Because I know there are lots of women out there, they are the ones doing the work. The women are usually the one, I mean, it's not absolute, but we know that more women are more invested and committed to their relationship than the guys. A woman will look for help when she needs to, but the men will just feel that they can run their marriages on autopilot and just do what they want. And then by the time the women are empowered or they are done with raising kids, then that's why you see at 30 years into the marriage, they will just say, I quit. I am done because I have been living with your crap for this many years, and then I won't do that anymore. So marriages can crash even at 50 years in the marriage. There is nothing when the person has had enough. So the advice is the two people in the marriage should not take each other for granted, and they should keep working at it so that they can actually enjoy the happily ever after. So living together for an interim period does not mean that you guys will still be able to live together after many years, because you have to keep working on the relationship to make sure that you keep enjoying it.
Ladies listening to you right now, there's some kind of hope, and that's the idea. That's why this program is here. Now let's bring in the African culture. Back in the day, I would always be saying, because without the past, there's no future. There's no, I mean, it's the past that leads to where we are today, that is still taking us further. So there is no way we will not talk about the past. Now, our mothers those days, hey, how they were able to raise their children alongside their husbands that were, I don't know, how do you bring in the African culture into these cohabitational relationships? Because grandma, would always say, even at that time, some parents would bring their young girls to those men that were seen as successful. Depending on the tribe, every tribe has their own kind of culture. Seen as successful, that they were strong, they will be able to take care of their daughters, even when they knew that the man was married with many wives. Yeah? That was there. And I'm like, okay, is it to protect the girl or what? That is an African thing, right? These cohabitational relationships, because even at that time, some girls ran away from home and followed some guys, that's where, big boys or fine boys
Of
as
those days.
of those days, you know. So from what you are saying, from what she is saying, is sounding, marriage is a process, even when the man has changed. Yesterday we had Gloria Anozie Young. She said the same thing. Her marriage is 21 and still counting. That there's a way you can move around it, even when that, because changes will come. For instance, the woman will go flabby someday after childbirth, no matter how much she takes care of herself. So please, let's now talk about the African culture and this present day cohabitational relationships. Choices. You have a right. I have a right. If I want to do this, I don't have to look at somebody else who failed or who succeeded. It's my choice. And now we're talking about the African culture and this kind of arrangement.
Okay, in the past,
Yeah.
for like the picture you painted,
Yes.
let's say we have a girl child,
Yeah.
and then the parents will have to like say, okay, go and
Go
meet
and marry
this man,
this
go
big
and marry
man,
this man,
so that to take care of you.
Automatically, if that girl had a vision, for instance, for herself or a goal for herself, now because of a situation like that, there are chances that she would like have to like drop such a vision just to fit into, what her parents or what that marriage. For instance, you said a man having maybe had like 3 wives, and then you're coming to join the person as a 4th wife. Many times, or sometimes we had women and parents of those days, having to drop their own personal ambitions just to fit into this. And it happened. Coming to the present day now, going back to what we also are talking about having to like grow apart. Marriage is a growth journey.
It
you know
is.
people people can live for like 30, 35 years, and after a while, when these visions don't align anymore, they begin to grow apart. And they tell themselves, irrespective of the fact that we have like ABC, XYZ amount of children, I can't do life with you anymore.
Yes.
Because somehow they have found that, along the way, these visions don't align anymore. I think I read one time a celebrity was talking about how, she has grown up children. She was saying how she had to leave her marriage because she knew that, entertainment was what she wanted to do. And her husband more like was gagging her voice. And so she couldn't let loose. So when she left the marriage, it was not like, how could you all these years? And she was like, our visions don't align anymore. So many times when visions don't align, people tend to, and then in those days, because of the children, we had our parents, our mothers, stay back because I just have to stay. There's this very terrible stigma attached with me leaving my family. But these days, people tend to like say, anyhow, I don't care. With the internet, with the jet age and everything. So, even when you have to like cohabit with a man, and then you're saying, okay, let me try and see if this will work. Along the line, if you're a kind of person who you're having a strong willpower, or you know really what you want in life, and you understand that marriage does not make you. Marriage is not the beginning and end of your life. You
have your own life.
Yes. You have a purpose to fulfill, you have a will, and all of that.
Exactly.
And you know that, okay, if I keep towing this line, I might not be able to fulfill this thing. I might just die without, having to express this part of me wanting to come out.
Exactly.
All of these things can cause a friction.
Exactly. So we're coming to you right now, Madam Fahimi. I'm sure you heard her. What's your take on this? The African culture and today's cohabitational relationships, as it were? I'm sure you have something to say.
Yeah, I do have something to say to add to what Joy just said now. Um, you see, uh, the African culture is being modified, it's changing, and if you want to say this is how this used to be done in the days of my forefathers, and that's how I'm gonna do it now, then you are in for a real shock because things are definitely not the same.